Hello, everybody. So we're going to try this again. I kind of had a malfunction on my streaming setup here, so let's try this again. Hi, this is Tenacious Earl with the 2018 Tenacious Golf Tour, and this is the third round of the 2018 Coastal Heritage tournament being held at Palmetto Harbor Golf Club in Hilton Head, South Carolina. So what we're going to be doing here is simulating the third round, which we use a tabletop game called History Maker Golf. You would have seen this in some other videos already, probably, and if not, that's okay. We'll start taking you through at least the third round. I would suggest at this point, if you haven't done or seen or understand what I'm talking about here as far as tournament mode, that it would be worth you going and finding either one of the other tournaments for what's called making the cut or the cut determination. I've had a couple of different things that I've written down as far as that goes, as far as or what I've put in descriptions and such. So, but what I'm going to do here, I need to double check my setup. So in just a moment, I'm going to be turning this around to my tabletop, and I'm going to try and adjust my camera a bit so you can see what's going on. So bear with me. I'll turn it around right now. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to take it around about like this. It's still probably not quite far enough. Let's see if I can go any further. Now, that's about as far as I can go. So what we'll do is we will do a little bit of, just bear with me as I do a little bit of camera adjustment, or not camera, but I'm going to adjust my setup a skosh to try and. So what this is, if you see these cards, these are represent letter grades, and what these letter grades do is they allow us to set up the, and I guess it's going to be tough for you to see the whole thing just because of the way it is, and I don't know how the resolution is at this point, but we'll give it a shot and see how it goes. Every time my setup changes a wee bit, and it kind of messes things up. So, all right, we're getting closer now. So, I can put this up here for now. Okay. So let's turn this a little bit down, like here. Okay. So it's these kinds of things are always a work in progress. So what we do is we have, if you did watch the previous video, and like I said, if you haven't, I would at the very least go back to the cut determination video first before embarking on this, because it might explain to you where we got these cards here from. What we did is we had a field of 132, and just like in professional golf, there is a they play 2 rounds and they make a cut line, and the cut line is usually at 70 golfers, between 70 and 80, at least 70, but no more than 80. And so our cut line was 71 golfers, and that's what this is here. We've got 70 in this pile and 1 in this one. This is going to be the outstanding pile, and so he gets a special privilege in what we're going to do here. And again, you would see what it meant by that. I'll show you. Actually, I can show you real quick what that means. So when we do the making the cut, there are a couple of selections here where someone becomes an outstanding golfer when we do the rolls. So that's how that was determined. But okay, so what do we do for round number 3? And I need to get my notebook ready because I'd like to keep some notes on some things. All right. So, and I can probably turn that just a little bit more so that way I can pull this down. So what we do is in the making the cut, we make 8 piles for morning, 8 piles for afternoon. Well, in the third round, we only have 8 total piles, and one of those is made up of the outstanding. So we will, whoops, we'll put that over here. And what happens is that we use this chart, and I will just show it for you, the completing the third round. And as you can see, each will roll 2d6 dice. You read lowest to highest on these, and each of the rolls gives you a mechanism to put 1, 2, or 3 golfers somewhere, or usually 2 golfers, usually 1 golfer somewhere, and the rest in the pile that we create into another place. Sometimes you've got 2 golfers in one. Sometimes they get these little sort of kind of neon looking with a lightning bolt in the middle. Those are tourney perks and issues, which gives some golfers, well, that'll give some golfers an advantage or disadvantage based on some rolls. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these cards, which are the guys who made the cut, and we're going to do some shuffling here. I'm going to take this out. So Ellis Moberly is going to be the final pile. And so we can go ahead and do some shuffling. I mean, you do the best you can shuffling these cards. They have seemed, either my technique for shuffling them is getting better, or something about the cards aging through this process. They've become a little less sticky to each other or something, because they do seem to shuffle a little bit better as we go. But so again, what we do is we try to divide into 7 equal piles, and then of course that 8th is just on its own by itself, just the way it is. So here's enough shuffling. So we're going to divide it into 2. So what I try to do is I just try to lay my hand over it, and if I don't feel a real gradient between the 2, I figure they're pretty close to being equal. And then it's the same thing with, I'm going to make another 2 for 4. This is how I've been doing it recently. And again, as I've said in previous videos, this does not have to be a perfect process, but it always does feel more equitable when it is. So now the way that and I feel like I've taken one too many away from this, but let's call it good. So now the way I make 7 is I take these and divide them into 2 to make 8. But then what I do is I take the 8th pile, and like equally distribute it between the other piles. So, whoops, what did I just do? Let's see. We'll call it good. So now I can take these, and I'm going to go ahead and, well, they're going to get to be on the top. So we're going to try to do it as best we can. Let's see, can I feel, this one feels shorter, so I'll put that one there. Okay, so there we go. So we've got 7 piles now, plus that 8th that is just one single solitary golfer. And so now what we do is each pile we roll off of the completing the third round chart. So that's what we're going to do now. We've got 2d6s, and we also have a decider die. And these 2d6s, again, I said in the last video, I purchased some new dice with different colors. I don't have the silver in the larger size, but I am going to use a brown instead when we do the final round. So what will happen is sometimes it's draw, sometimes it is the top golfer, and the golfers, I'll show you Moberly because he's already shown. This is the indicator for whether where the golfer is ranked in terms of top. So 1A is the best, and in our set here we go all the way down to 6A. But like so 1B, 1C, then 2A, 2B, 2C. The 1 and the A are the highest, so a 2A isn't as good as a 1C, but anyway, so that's how it's going to work. So sometimes it's going to be draw, sometimes it's going to be top, and we'll start with pile number 1. Now what we'll do is for the draw, we roll a d20. We put them out, we lay them out here, count how many are in there, and then we use a d20 to pick one of them randomly. And then later on, we will be using, actually when we get certain situations where we have multiple, like a tie, we use the D6, or the decider die to choose whether or not they go into one of these piles or into the B minus pile and finish there. Or might be contend at B plus. We'll see. But let's get going. I'll show you. So the first pile is going to be 34. Actually, I'm going to write down here turning. Perks and issues. Okay, so 34. No tourney perks and issues. It's going to be the top golfer contends with an A minus rating, and that will set. There'll be another roll to eventually set the scores at the moment. So, but the top golfer will contend with A minus. The low golfer will finish with D minus, and then the others are going to go into the B plus pile. So here we figure out who the top golfer was in pile number 1. Hopefully you can see the ratings. And then the lowest golfer, it could be Laufenberg. There's 2A, so Solari that'll be Evan Aldrich. Now Duke Vernon. And any ties for that, we will put them down at D minus. 3B. Martin Van Dyke trumps out Evan Aldrich. So Evan Aldrich in this crew is going to go to B plus. Martin Van Dyke will be at A minus. And then these two guys are going to go to D minus and will finish basically they will get paid, but not very much. Okay, so pile number 2, 55. So 55 is all golfers contend with B. So let's go ahead and look and see who's in this pile and see if there's any interesting golfers in this pile. We've got Ian Robards, Tagaki Yamasaki, what a name, Dustin Jimenez, Dalton Solomon, Smokey Novak, Soren Overgaard, Joshua New, Lewis Choi, Greer Copeland III, Braden LaSalle Jr., and Maurice Hirano. So they're all going to contend with B. So one of those guys may come up in a merging contender in the final round. So go to pile number 3. We need some stars, some A plus and A's here shortly. It'd be nice. So 26 comes next. Draw golfer contends with A minus. Others finish with B minus. So this is where we're going to put them upside down. So it's a surprise, and we're going to use the D20 to pick a random golfer. And this was 26. I'll make sure I remember that. So we have 8 here. So we got 8. We have 8, rather. Poor English. So we can go 1 to 16 because if it goes above 8 on the D20, we will just take We'll subtract 8 from it. So it's 12, so we go 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This will be an A- golfer. Jay Gun Woo, and he was a guy that I'm trying to remember how it worked out, but he got a break in the I'd have to go back and look at the at how it all worked out. Gil Granbury in this pile. Let's see who else. Burke Yielding, Zukowski, Honorado, Aaron's, Garibay. So that's at least one good golfer, but B minus they finish there, so they cannot get into the tournament later, or come back and get closer. Whereas B plus and B can contend. All right, so pile number 4. That's a 35. Draw golfer contends with A. Top golfer A minus. So let's go ahead and fan these guys out. We'll put the 35 up here so we have enough room. You can tell by the shape of these two here that these guys, some of these guys are, what do you want to call it? My custom cards, but that's okay with the draw. It doesn't really make that much of a difference. All right, so we've got 10 here. We got one off, just barely off the screen. So we can go 1 to 20. This roll will pick the golfer that is going to be at A. It will be golfer 6. If you could see here, golfer 6. This one here is 6, and it's going to be Celestino Garcia. Will be at A. And let's see who the top golfer is. There's Gareth Leonard, Trent McAdams. So here we've got a tie. All right, so then the rest contend with B. So we're going to put these guys all in B. But now we've got these two guys, and we roll the decider die now, and if they get the dot, they go to A minus. If they don't, they go to B plus. So Gareth Leonard will be first. He will be at A minus, and Trent McAdams will also be at A minus. So, all right, we've got 4 more piles to go. No tourney issues or perks yet. 15. We will get one here with a draw golfer contending with A, dot top with A minus, and others finish with C minus. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take these and kind of stack them so I get a little more room. So draw golfer goes to A, so he'll join Celestino Garcia in that pack. The cards here sticking together a touch, so that is 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's see, and this is getting to the point where you guys can't see the dice roll. All right, so draw, we got 10. And it will be 15. That will be number 5. Number 5 is Zephaniah Scott. How about that? Someone who watches these likes Zephaniah. So the draw golfer goes to A, and Zephaniah Scott will have a tourney perk or an issue. So then the top golfer Kanishi so far. Trenchard tied with him. Okay, well, it's going to be those two guys are the top golfers in this pile. The rest finish with C minus, so we will put them right here. So we again use the decider die. Dot means it goes to A minus. No dot means B plus. So Kanishi, he'll be at B plus. Adam Trenchard, oh, he'll be at A minus. So we'll put him there with McAdams. So some heavy hitters here in the final groups to start. We got 7 so far. And we may still take Kanishi in eventually. Okay, so pile number 6. '26. Draw a golfer contends with A. Others finish with B minus. So this is a heavy pile. I didn't. Let's see how many guys get in here. If Emmerich's in here, he's got a chance of not being in the final. Oh wait, Emmerich isn't playing in this game, in this tournament. I forgot about that. So that's why we haven't seen him yet. You'd think I'd remember that, but unfortunately, there's 10. We'll go 11, 12. So we can only go 1 through 12 here on the D20. Draw a golfer contends with A minus, and it's a 5. Trevor Noen, he will be at A minus with all these other guys, and we haven't gotten any A pluses yet. So let's see who all is going to be in. It's going to Heath Sommers, Yunli Song, who won the Masters, decent tournament, but it's going to fall short. Palmiro Cavallari, Augie Kammerman. They're all going to finish with B minus. One last pile, and then we have the singlet of Moberly. So here we go with 55. All golfers contend with B. So the rest of these guys, Carson Riddell, Angus Ingram, Christian Canepa, Marshall Weber, Enrique Magallanes, tournament winner, Yarlett, Wiles, Sudbury, Reasoner, Vasquez, they're all going to be in B. So the B is a heavy pile here. Now we got Moberly. We're going to roll him off here. See where he ends up. 34. Top golfer contends with A minus. We're going to have a whole slew of guys. So it's Garcia and Scott are going to be the leaders here. And so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're going to need 3 from the B plus pile. And I'm going to need to do a little bit of adjustment with that. But first, what I'm going to do is just need to find a couple of items here. Okay, there's this. So the way that I do this is I take cards. I'm not real happy about it being such a... There's a lot of guys up in here. Kind of feels like there should be a rule that says that if you hit certain cards, certain rolls after you've hit other rolls, that you can't stick with them, but I guess that's what we're going to do. It'll be okay. It usually works out just fine. Now the B pile is going to be put away as well for now. Now there could be golfers that emerge from B, but we'll just have to see how that turns out. Now, again, I'm looking for, oh, here we go. So, we need to look at scoring key for contending golfers. The target score for this tournament is 273. So we come into this pile and we see A is 207 or 208. So 207, 3 rounds at a 71. That's what, 213? 71. Yeah, 213. So 213 and 207, right? So that's minus 6. All right. Just a moment. So it's going to be a bit of a lower, I guess a higher scoring tournament here. Seven. Okay. If you think I'm distracted right now, I've kind of got something stuck in my teeth and it's kind of bothering me a bit. So okay, there we go. Got it. All right. So 273, the target score. Let's see, 207, 8. So minus 6, minus 5, minus 4, minus 3, minus 2, minus 1. So that's going to be our. That's going to be where people fall in. So what we're going to have to do here, though, is set them up over here, and you'll see how I'm going to adjust this a bit. Oh, so let's move this over here. And B plus is kind of going to be somewhat special in a way. We're going to try to do it the best we can. So again, trying to. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the players that we put down there first, and then we will fill it out. So, okay. All right. Do I have room over here to show the box? Barely. Hi, Jerry. Things are fine. I'm trying to arrange my space to accommodate this, and it's a little crammed here at this point, but yeah, I need I need a den of solitude is what I need, really. But yeah, a wide angle lens would be nice. A better, yeah. I mean, I do the best I can. I do not have a PC in this setup, so that doesn't help much. With the PC, you've got a little more flexibility as far as what kind of equipment you can purchase to make things work better. So, but that's okay. Do the best we can. Just let's see. So we got ID Jester, we got Ken. That's good. So, all right. So we're basically relying on the decide or die now to set these guys, Celestino Garcia, Zephaniah Scott, and then we've got these guys here, which one of them, Martin Van Dyke, Jae Gun Woo, Gareth Leonard, Trent McAdams, Adam Trenchard, Trevor Nolan, Ellis Moberly, and then these guys here into these categories. And what will end up happening here is that A's are going to go in -6 and -5. A minus is -4, -3. B pluses will be -2, -1, but the B pluses that are in -2, we will take the best 3 probably, and they will become part of our final groups. So Garcia, if it's a dot, it will be -6. If there's no dot, it'll be -5. And I'm still not thrilled with the spacing, but that's fine. We'll just have to make it work. So Garcia will be in the lead. And then Zephaniah Scott, he also will be. So -5 isn't going to be populated. So -4 and -3 will be, we can get rid of the A designation. Maybe what I can do now is move -4 and -3 up here, kind of. So let's, and what I can do is maybe move this down and I'll just stack them in here. So Martin Van Dyke first, he'll be -3. Jae Gun Woo, he'll also be -3. Gareth Leonard, okay, he's going to be -4. Trent McAdams, no, -3 for him. Adam Trenchard, okay, he's going to be at -4. Trevor Nolan, also -4. And Ellis Moberly, it might be the job of the kids for it to be a cameraman. That's what I need. Yeah, so Ellis Moberly will be at -4. So these guys will be 2 shots back. These 3 will be 3 back. And then we've got -2 and -1. I guess we will put them right here, and we need to make sure we don't cross the streams, so to speak. So let's move -3 over here. -4 right about there. That's not too bad. All right, so we can just put these here. So what we're going to do is we're going to work backwards as we were doing before. The ones on top were the most recent. Ethan McMillan, he can go up here in -2. David Alvestad, oh, -1. He's going to have to emerge. Anybody down here is going to have to emerge. Guys up here will have a chance to be in the final groups. Solari, Carlos Solari will be in -2. Dale George, -1. Denny Rowetter. I've said before, whenever I see his name, I think bedwetter. Whoa, look at that go. Nice. Couldn't do that again if I tried, probably. All right. Evan Aldrich. He's going to go up here. And now Shinji Kanichi. And he will too, but what we're going to do is we're going to take the top 3. Rowetter and McMillan are going to... let's see, how are we going to work this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And this is where it gets kind of weird when you've got, because we've already determined in this video that they start at -2. That is okay, but what we'll do is we are going to include them in the B+ pile with Alvestad and George, and it's, if they emerge, they emerge. If they don't, they don't. But that's just part of when you are a when you've got the lower tournament rating. That's what doesn't go your way. So okay, so that leaves us with coming up with, if I can find my book. Where is my book? Is it up there? No, this is it here. Devising the pairings. I didn't look it up, so that's part of my problem here. I guess I'm going to go with whatever I have in the binder here. Hopefully I have a score sheet available that hasn't been used yet. Oh, here we go. Oh, those are foursomes. Do I not have any tournament? It's going to be a catastrophe here if I don't have any extra open. I might have used them all up, and I may need to print some more out. Let's see, any more down here at the bottom? Oh, what a shame. What a shame. I like to plug things in on the. So what am I going to do about this? I'm going to look one more time here. Used up all my tournament mode sheets that were in my binder. So what now? Well, I guess we'll dive into the box here and find one that's in here. If my fingers will work. Okay, I guess we're going to do twosomes. I don't know if this was one of the ones that came with the game, but I guess I don't have a whole lot of choice at this point. I gotta use it. So okay, this is called the 2018 Coastal Heritage. It's at Palmetto Harbor. Not many places in the U.S. spell harbor like O-U-R, but we'll do the conditions in a bit. All right, so we're going to start with the first pairing. And let's see, because Solari was the first, we're going to use these two guys first. We'll do Aldrich and Kanishi. And we've got Solari and Wu. We'll go with the guy with the lower score first. Okay, and then we've got McAdams and Van Dyke. The be next. I guess you guys probably aren't able to see this very well. Go ahead and do this. And then we're going to do Noan and Moberly. And then Leonard and Adam Trenchard. The Aussie. And then the leaders, Celestino Garcia and Zephaniah Scott. Okay, let's just go ahead and write down the final round contenders here. So first, we'll go tie 1. It's going to be, that's 207. Tied for third is going to be at 209, 2 back. So then we got tied for 7th. We got 3 guys. It's going to be they're at 208, 3 back. And then finally at -2, that's 209, 4 behind. And they are tied for 10th is going to be Carlos Solari, Evan Aldrich, and Shinji Konishi. All right, so that's what we've got here. Now that I got all this transferred on here, I can kind of, I don't necessarily need to keep these things so neat and orderly. We need to do a couple of other things first before we close this down. Not quite to 45 minutes, so we're doing all right. Okay. Let's do... There's Higher Ground Gaming. Yeah, so I'm not looking too much at the I'm trying to catch a comment here or there, but it's not always easy for me to kind of jump in the midst, and it kind of probably sounds a little on the incoherent side because I'm trying to see what people are saying, and it's kind of tough. But humid subtropical is what we're going to call Palmetto Harbor and Hilton Head. Let's see, any others that, no, I think that's the one that most typifies that. And it's going to be in April. So an 11 would mean rain. 22 would mean windy. And 66 would mean slow greens, which is because of rain. So let's see. So 11, 22, or 66 would trigger some extra conditions. Otherwise, it would be normal. And it's going to be normal with a 24. Okay, and the last thing we are going to do is we will go from the tourney day perks chart and issues, and let's get Zephaniah Scott, whatever issue he is going to be or have, or perk, whichever one he's going to have. So let's, we can zoom in a little bit here, and hopefully you can, what we can do here is just, we'll really zoom it in so that way hopefully you can see the chart a little better. So what we're going to do is we're going to roll this black D6. We roll it once. And I will slide this depending upon which one we get. So let's see what we get here in the black box. It's a 4, so we will slide it up a little bit. You can see Clubhouse. So a number of, as you can see here, a number of Clubhouse conditions potentially. If he gets this either sunny or stormy, we can do a decider die roll, um, which if it gets a bullet, it's going to be till further notice, and if it's without, then it would only be for this tournament. So let's see what he gets on the 4 clubhouse. It's a 1, so he's going to gain the sunny quality. So let's so Zephaniah Scott will be sunny. And let's roll the decider die. This would take away Palmiro Cavallari's loss of his semi-icon if this is a till further notice. And it's not, so it's this tournament only. Well, this round only. So, and I've been reading some on the forums, and Sunny, hold on, this round only. And so nothing should affect that when you, according to a lot of people, that when you get a this round only roll, that it should that if you were to do something to make you stormy, that it wouldn't do that. It wouldn't be successful in that because you have the sunny quality all around. So I guess we'll play it that way, and we'll see if that gives Scott the a leg up. So that's that for third round. I think we've covered everything. Need to go ahead and take a look at the cards, the course cards, and probably try to get this tournament in tomorrow in batches as we usually do. So my eyes are bugging me right now, but that's okay. So I guess everybody's doing all right. Anybody happy it's the weekend? Yeah, I definitely am. It gives me a chance to play some games, and I hope it gives you all a chance to play. Obviously, we've got the Stratomatic season release coming up here in the not too distant future. The 2017 cards plus what was it? It was a 1960s set. Also available. I think you can pre-order it now. I think there were some glitches right when they opened up the pre-ordering, but I'm imagining they've probably sorted those out. If not, it's 1968, so I got Jerry and Ken both chiming in there. So if you're more into historical games, playing maybe even replays, maybe projects that surround a season that's more historical, you want to get to know some older players, that's the way to go. If you are really into the current generation of Major League Baseball stars, your Altuves, your Trouts, your Stantons, if you're a Yankees fan, Judge. For the Phillies, they just got Carlos Santana. I don't think it's that exciting, but you never know. But you just had a couple trades. Yelich to the Brewers, and the Brewers also got a hold of Lorenzo Cain, got him back. So they look like they could be trying to stock up for a run here this year or next. If that's what you're into, then pick up 2017, the last year of the Marlins being able to contend for a while, probably. Stanton's great year, Judge's breakout year. Yankees back in the playoffs. Astros seeing another tear down and rebuild, be successful and gaining a World Series title. That's what you got. So, anyway, that's about all I'm going to have here. But we got a lot of channels popping up here. So, little by little, we're having a pretty good slew of people producing content. If you are into the golf, this History Maker golf. A guy who produced some videos a while back named Kiefer Fairbanks. He produced a video yesterday that's just a short one. Um, you take care too, Jerry. Um, I hope you have a good weekend. You'll probably see me around here playing this, but he produced a video just detailing some of the things that are exciting him about the next gen of courses that Play is releasing. And he kind of goes into some descriptions of that. I've talked a little bit about that. I haven't shown you a lot of that, but he kind of goes into a little bit more detail. He's not really playing a game in that video. He's just kind of talking through, which is cool. We do that sometimes here. Actually, I'm doing it right now. But obviously, he's been around a while. But you've got what you can do is you can kind of look in. Um, like our channel here probably has what we subscribe to. Um, check through there and find some things. It's tough to remember the names. Obviously, um, uh, obviously we have a number of guys who are kind of perennial friends of the channel. Baseball demos, RNGIDP, Stratomatic Delaware, um, Espo, uh, um, Al Red Sox fan, and we got Higher Ground Gaming that's been on here tonight, and ID Jester's on here. They're not doing tabletop, but they do sports sims, and they do some other kinds of simulations and stuff. So check these guys out. But there's some newer channels. Combat Painter's one that's more new. I can't remember all of the newer names. I should write them down. Maybe for one of the final round videos, I will have kind of written down a list of some of the new channels. If you're looking for them, maybe I should just create a video of some newer channels, because it's just we're gonna have lulls here at times, and it's good to know where to find content if you want. Not everybody has their 100,000 channels on their satellite dish or cable network, and some people do this as their fun. So uh, I believe the community is growing. Yes, Higher Ground Gaming, it is, little by little. It's good. We got to take baby steps. This is um, this is I mean, granted, I would say that this can be sports simulations are um, they can touch all generations for the most part. What the tabletop group does is a little more old school, probably, but I think you can also appeal to a younger crowd. It's tough because the video games are sort of like an instant gratification, and I can understand that. Even any of us, I think, can grab a hold of something on the computer or on one of your gaming systems, and it's fun. You can get through a season real quick. You can you can game the system in that way. Like you play NHL on the computer. I used to have the whole spin move deke whatever. You could, and then you'd have the computer then learning how to basically pump in more goals so that you can't so that you've got to get better. But it isn't. Yes, things are sort of instant. You want things now. The commercials in an NFL game. It loses my kids. Heck, some of it loses me. It's like you got a phone in front of you. You can get lost, and I mean, or any TV show that's on. You go to commercial. What are you doing? I mean, it used to be we flipped around the channels a lot of times. Now I don't even do that. I just if I can't don't have it DVR'd, I'm probably just popping around on my phone, and then I might not even realize the show's back, and then I got to rewind it. So it's our world has evolved, and it's not going to go back. And if you are upset about it, not sure there is much you can do. Yeah, PC games. PC games. Ken says that they change the way a team is managed. Um, Absolutely. I mean, even this is, we're not managing these games on the tabletop the same way that Buck Showalter or Charlie Manuel or Joe Girardi or any of them would do. So you just have to you have to have fun is what it comes down to. But yeah, you're right. And the computer thing is you have so much more data right at your fingertips. Like if I'm playing a tabletop game, I mean I can look at the back side of the card, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to have it in my head and I can see. But even being able to see the card gives me an idea of, and the manager doesn't have that. Sure, he's got, if he's of a new generation. If he's old school, he's probably just doing it by feel. But if he's like a newer generation, he's going to have a book this thick of printouts and studies of what the opposing pitcher does, what his batter does against not only that opposing pitcher, but against pitchers of his arm, maybe even the type of pitcher. Maybe it's you know hard throwing lefties, sinker slider lefties, rather than the sort of what we come to think of it for a lefty, which is more control. So Ken says never see a guy with a high ERA and a decent amount of innings come into one of the games on the PC. Yeah, yeah, and yeah. So the AI might not be just perfect, um, and you'll have that in just. I mean, it's going to get better over time, but they're probably always going to bring in setup, closer. You know, and they may not even take into consideration what was used in the last two games. So maybe they do. Maybe Stratomatic PC does that. Maybe it knows that it really needs to rest. And if you look in there when you're putting in a game, there are some little flags next to the name that say it basically are notations to say that this guy is somewhat on a pitch count coming out of the bullpen because he's been used 2 days in a row and such. But try to bring in my rag arms in the cards and dice replays. I'm I try to bring it. Yeah, so the back end of the bullpen or the long reliever slash mop up duty guys. Yeah, yeah. I mean, and if you've watched my replay, if the Phillies are if the score effects are pretty big, if it's a 5-run lead or 5-run deficit, I'm probably going to go to Clay Condrey or Chad. Chad Durbin and Clay Condrey were both used in sixth and seventh inning situations that were closer. But Rudy Cianez, another guy that's a little more dicey. Adam Eaton, we're getting into that, but Higher Ground does say that Strat does have a fatigue factor for pitchers. So yeah, I mean, we try to have fun. I mean, that's what and a lot of it for a guy like me, fun is trying to simulate real life as best as possible. But how are you going to do that? I don't know. I mean, how are you realistic unless you study each manager and know their ins and outs? And even then, you're probably still going to make some mistakes. So just just have fun. It, the results are probably going to come out pretty similar, but anyway, I'm going to sign off. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for the likes. Check in tomorrow. We will have the final round of this tournament. It was great getting to talk to you for about 15 minutes. So again, check out all of the stuff that we've talked about, and thanks for your loyal support. And until next time, enjoy your tabletop sports. For Tabletop Earl, this is Tenacious Earl. God bless, and keep on rolling.